you're also the chairman of the International Energy Agency Ocean Energy Systems, right?
Exactly.
And you're going to tell us the latest about R&D in ocean energy and offshore wind.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, good afternoon. I'm happy to have still such an audience right now, because it's quite late already. But I'm going to speak, yes, maybe more as the chairman of this technological collaboration program under the umbrella of the International Energy Agency, rather than as the executive director of France Énergie Marine, which is an institute for the energy transition in France, which is a public-private institute devoted to offshore renewable energy. So can we
keep the slides over there?
Okay, I can jump from one slide to the next. Let's do. Okay. So I will shortly present IEA OES, so Ocean Energy Systems, and in fact it's really devoted to ocean energy. So I'm glad to speak English right now, because when we talk about énergie marine in French, usually we encompass all the offshore energies. So that's to say also bottom fixed and floating offshore wind, which is not the case in English when we are talking about ocean energy, since it's related to tidal, wave, ocean thermal energy conversion, and also salinity gradient. In the OES, we have 23 members, so country members, and the European Commission, which are all sending experts, so delegates, in fact. And this group of experts come from various types of stakeholders. You have, of course, research institutions and the universities, the academics, but not just them. You have governmental agencies and energy agencies like, ADIM or NIDO, or, these kind of big energy agencies. And sometimes you have directly the ministries of environment or ministries of energy of the given countries. Okay. So what are we doing there? In fact, these experts are sharing their knowledge and their return of experience to end up with reports. And what I'm going to show are a couple of reports issued from our works. So then, how do we work? We work in sub-working groups, I would say, on projects, and also we are setting up databases that we share, so that we set up and share at the international level. So you see here a couple of projects and topics. I will just say that we have a representative of several countries in each of the working groups, and that, for instance, for France, you have also people not just from France Énergie Marine, of course, but also people from the University de Caen, INOCI, Centrale Nantes, and so forth, that are taking part to these initiatives. And that's pretty interesting, because these are the places where we really share a lot of information. And I will give examples. So the flagship publications for Ocean Energy Systems is really the annual report. And for those here in this domain, in this topic in France, they know that every year I'm collecting information, really the much up-to-date information from the various developers and from the various academic teams to really get the most important information that they want to share at the international level. And another one is, and this only published every 4 years, it's the State of the Science Report, which is a collection of references and methodologies that help working on the environmental issues related with ocean energy, and this one is already shared with offshore wind. So if you read, if you have a look into this booklet, which is really taken as a reference by many consultants and many business units in environmental surveys, well, you'll see that all the methodologies are well described and references are given. And then the kind of topic that we are working on is, for instance, we have issued this report, which is called Framework for Ocean Energy Technology, and it's an international framework, and in which we are setting up, like you know, the so-called TRLs, but here only in 5 steps. But what is important is that you have criterion and thresholds that are given for a couple of issues that will really show that you have come from a proof of concept to the scale prototype, to a prototype at the scale 1 with a couple of return of experience, but not that much, and so forth. And this is really set up so that after a while we have it's intended to become like a technological international passport, you know, for the technology. So you can develop your system in one country and get in another country and get funding. And this publication is really useful both for the technological developers and also for the public stakeholders that are taking part to the financial development of these systems, and also for investors. Okay, now, and I will skip you'll see that I will skip very quickly to the next slides, because I just want to say that we also publish highlights, and every 2 years on each of the technologies. So there's been, for instance, one on tidal, and you'll see that there's only one French representative, because this had to be operational at the time of the publication. And for this one, it was just HydroQuest in Brea. But then you get an overview of everything that's going on in the world. And this is in New York by Verdant. This is something which is already in Canada also, was operational at that time. You have CIMEC Atlantis, of course, in the UK, Nova Innovation. Then you have several, of course, examples given from the UK because they're so active in this field, Orbital Power. And Minesto, which is then considered to be both from Sweden and UK, Magallanes, HydroQuest, and it was because, as I said, it was operational at that time in Brea. And then that also helps to get an overview of what's going on in Asia. And here you have examples that are running for several years, in fact, already, in China, here in Japan, and so that was this overview. Then I want to stress on the fact that we are also looking into the economical framework, I would say. And here 2 publications that are pretty interesting, I think. One is Ocean Energy in Islands and Remote Coastal Areas, which is really setting up, in fact, what are the conditions in which ocean energy can develop in these places, not just considering that because the cost of energy over there is really expensive that it should work. No, it's really setting up all the points that helps developing in islands and in this niche market, but to do it the proper way. And you have another one, which is on blue economy, so not just so aquaculture and so forth, but you'll see that there's a specific one on aquaculture later on. So highlights in WAVE, and again, was only what was operational at that time. So for France, you had JEPS Techno that you will see. But when I wrote over that, you have this big ocean energy machine developed in Ireland and tested in Hawaii. Then you have things that are following the report I was showing about stage gating. So there are these initiatives in order that to really make up new devices in a proper way, going from one tail to another. And this one is issued for that machine. Okay, core power, and then you see Mutriku in Spain, then JEPS Techno, as I said, or from Denmark, two from Denmark, and then we're close back to the previous subtopic because this is floating. It's both wave and solar, so it's a hybrid system already, floating solar with a wave energy conversion. And then you get also information of what's going on in Asia again. So in China, well, the most impressive one, I think, is this application to aquaculture already in China, running for more than 1 year. Okay, Australia. Then you get also, we are working on the test sites, and then you have the full map of every place in the world where you could, in fact, test this machine. And then I will just end up with other publications. Like I said, there's one very interesting one about aquaculture and application. And there's a white paper on ocean thermal energy conversion. It's something I guess we haven't heard too much about here at Synergy, except there are very good posters already on that. And so it's really giving a good overview of what are the conditions for the development of ocean thermal energy conversion. And again, a couple of interviews on alternative markets for ocean energy. Okay.